Good morning. Hereby call this meeting to order. And we are happy, as always, to recognize our friends Bobby Stem with the AOGC and Mike Patterson, former Secretary of Transportation. Welcome, gentlemen. And is Paul Zachary here? I'd like to call out Paul, not this morning. Let's see him. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Boswell? Here. Mr. Studeville? Here. Ms. Billy? Mr. Freimiller? Mr. Dyson?
Here.
Mr. Alexander?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Junk?
Here.
Mr. Peterson?
Here. Thank you. Director Gatz, you're recognized to present.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. If you might, we would recognize Justin Hernandez to announce a new state traffic engineer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like your help in welcoming Kendall Tyson. She was named the State Traffic Engineer for the Oklahoma Department of Transportation in October of 2025. In that position, she'll develop and implement traffic-related engineering, enforcement, education, safety, and operations programs designed to improve safety and mobility of the transportation system. She began her career at ODOT in 2015 as part of the Oklahoma State University Design Squad. She later transitioned to construction management at the Tulsa residency, where she oversaw the first phase of the I-44 US 75 interchange project, the largest highway construction contract in Tulsa at the time. Her leadership led her to subsequent roles as a Stillwater resident engineer and assistant state traffic engineer before stepping into her new position. Kendall is a member of ODOT's Engineering Development Council, where she helps mentor and recruit the next generation of engineers while supporting professional growth across the department. She holds her bachelor's degree and master's in civil engineering from Oklahoma State University. Kendall and her husband Corbin currently reside in Stillwater with their 3 dogs. So please, Kendall, help me welcome Kendall to her new position. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Mr. Chairman, continuing, we would recognize John Arps with our Maintenance Division for some special recognition.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity to, do this special recognition this morning, something we don't see very often here at ODOT. After an extraordinary 53 years of service, we are honored today to recognize Melody Johnson as she enters retirement from the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. Melody began her ODOT career in 1974 in Field District 4 in Perry, serving 26 years as an office assistant before moving to Data and Technology Services Division in Oklahoma City. For the past 18 years, she has served as ODOT's State Beautification Coordinator, leading programs that truly make Oklahoma a cleaner, more beautiful place to live. Melody has overseen ODOT's annual participation in the Great American Cleanup, statewide beautification and anti-litter campaign, the Oklahoma Trash Poster Contest, the Roadside Wildflower Program, the statewide litter hotline, and countless outreach efforts that have touched schools, communities, and partners across the state. Under her coordination, ODOT earned 13 consecutive national recognition awards from Keep America Beautiful. Her outstanding work has also been honored with the Keep Oklahoma Beautiful Towering Spirit Award and the Oklahoma City Beautiful Pendleton Woods Lifetime Achievement Award. Melody's impact extends far beyond the programs she manages, as she has been a trusted colleague, a mentor, a champion for public service, and a cherished friend. Melody, we thank you for your more than 5 decades of dedication to this department and to the people of Oklahoma. Your legacy will continue in every mile of roadway made cleaner and every community made stronger by your commitment. We wish you a joyful and very well-deserved retirement.
having motion to.
Mr. Chairman, and at this point, if you wouldn't mind, we will recognize T.J. Dill, our chief engineer, for the presentation of the 2025 Pharaoh Award presented by the Association of General Contractors. So, T.J.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the past 30 years, the Association of General Contractors has presented the Pharaoh Award to the highest quality bridge structure completed over the past year in the state of Oklahoma. The award is presented at the annual AOGC Safety Awards Banquet, and this year Frontier Bridge was honored for their workmanship on the Lieutenant General Thomas P. Stafford Memorial Interchange Bridge in Weatherford. This prestigious award carries the Pharaoh family name, who are known as pioneers in the bridge construction industry. We are honored that Mr. Kent Pharaoh is actually here joining us this morning, and with your permission, Mr. Chairman, I would like to turn the microphone over to him.
Please.
Thank you.
TJ just stole my remarks. Good morning,
Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. It's an honor to stand before you today, representing the Pharaoh family of Henrietta and the Association of Oklahoma General Contractors to present the 30th Annual Pharaoh Bridge Award to deserving employees of the Oklahoma Department of Transportation. Recently, I had this privilege of presenting this award to, as mentioned, Raymond Flatt, President of Frontier Bridge Incorporated from Okarche, Oklahoma, at the AOGC Annual Safety Awards Banquet held in Oklahoma City. This is the fourth time that Frontier Bridge has received this award for excellence in construction. Mr. Flatt and his son Spencer are in the audience. Do I have your permission, Mr. Chairman, to have them stand and be recognized?
Please.
Yes, sir. Raymond, would you and Spencer please stand? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. They're certainly worthy of that recognition.
They are.
Let me give you very briefly an overview of how this project was selected. Every year, the ODOT and OTA invite their field divisions to submit nominations for this award. Once the nominations are submitted, they send a committee out to look at each of the nominated structures. And they are based, their decisions are based on the following criteria: difficulty of construction, substructure workmanship, the rideability of the finished deck based on parallelograph readings, the uniformity of chamfer lines, and the overall aesthetics of the project. And Frontier Bridge has been adjudged, look at that beautiful structure, has been adjudged to have met all these criteria. It is now my pleasure to invite the District 5 engineer from ODOT to come forward. Mr. Will Snipes, is he in attendance, please? Will, congratulations. And the resident engineer, Will, how do you pronounce his name? That's correct. With CSC Construction, he is present. Yes, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
They are recognized for their ability to do an excellent job in the inspection of that overall project, from taking the first spade of dirt and turning it all the way through to completion of the project and final inspection. So, gentlemen, we're proud of you. We're honored to give you an award for your hard work and recognition of this project. Thank you very much. And lastly, Commissioner Dyson, you've got the best quality bridge built in the state. You've got the best field division and resident engineer in your transportation district. And you've got the best highway bridge contractor recognized this time for this project. If I was in your position, in your seat, I'd be mighty proud, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen and members of the commission, for this honor to stand before you today to make this award.
Item 177 is approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on November 3rd, 2025. Do I have a motion for approval of item 177?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second Alexander.
Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Consent docket contains items 178 through 182. If any commissioner would like to pull an individual item out for discussion, you may do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent docket.
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Thank you very much.
Second, Boswell.
Thank you. Commissioner Boswell seconded. Okay. Please cast your vote. And Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Yes. Junk votes yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item 183 is engineering contract supplements. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to present.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
Okay, engineering contract supplements, item 183. Part A, this is for statewide on-demand bridge inspection services on system. The department has previously selected 6 consulting firms to provide these services. They are Burgess and Nyepel, CEC Corporation, Consor Engineers, Garver, Guy Engineering Services, and Strentec Corporation. This is the first supplement for this contract, and the total aggregate increase for these supplements is $3 million. Part B is also statewide. This is for on-demand architectural services and preparation of building construction plans. The department has previously selected 2 consulting firms to provide these services. They are CEC Corporation and CH Guernsey and Company. This is the first supplement for this contract, and the aggregate increase for these contract values is $1,500,000. Part C is statewide balanced mix design program development and implementation. The department has previously selected EST Incorporated to provide these engineering services. This is their second supplement. Supplement value is $750,000. Part D is project specific. This is District 8 in Creek County, State Highway 48. Project intent here is to add shoulders to 2-lane highway. This supplement is for additional engineering. The department has previously selected Tetra Tech Incorporated to provide these services. This is their second supplement for this contract with a supplement value of $170,000. Right-of-way phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with a program date of federal fiscal year 2025. Part E is District 8 Creek County. This is 2 city bridges in Drumright. The first is East First Street over Tiger Creek. The second location is East Wood Street over Tiger Creek. The project intent here is to replace these bridges on existing alignment. The department has previously selected Jacobs Engineering Group to provide engineering services. This is the third supplement with a value of $140,928. Project is part of the Bridge Formula Program approved by the Commission on April 3rd, 2023, with a scheduled let date federal fiscal year 2026. Part F is District 8 Ottawa County. This is US 60. Project intent here is to reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility. The department has previously selected MacArthur Engineering Consultants to provide engineering services. This is their first supplement with a value of $55,000. Construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2028. And that concludes the engineering supplements. We recommend approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 183?
Motion approved. Scott.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Scott. Do I have a second?
Second, Studeville.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Junk, yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Item 184 is change orders with cumulative total of $150,000 or less. This is for information only. Mr. Leonard, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Good morning.
Commissioners. Yes, item 184, parts A through W. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $150,000 or less. This is presented for your information only. No action is necessary, but I'd be glad to answer any questions.
If there are no questions, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to continue to item 185, change orders with cumulative total greater than $150,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, 185, parts A through T are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of greater than $150,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 185?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Scott.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Junk, yes.
Thank you. And the motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 186 is claim for additional payment. Mr. Davis, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 186 is claims for additional payment. This is in multiple locations across the state, and it is in 3 parts. Part A is in District 2, McCurtain County, Frontier Bridge Incorporated. This contract on County Road D 4615 over the Little River near Idabel was awarded by the Oklahoma Transportation Commission on December 7th, 2020 for a total contract amount of $3,196,114.99. Original contract time was 240 calendar days. Due to conditions beyond the control of the contractor, additional time and effort were needed to complete the drill shaft work on this project. A series of high-flow events caused several delays to the project timeline, including one in which a drill shaft under construction was damaged and could not be salvaged and had to be removed and redesigned before continuing substructure work. The period of planning and design, as well as procuring materials and remobilizing to the project, took approximately 147 days. The contractor was able to perform limited activities in other areas, but full production was unachievable during this time period. Through negotiation, it is agreed that the contractor was impacted a total of 116 days of these delays, and in addition is entitled to a total of 53 days of standby time for equipment that could not be fully utilized during these time periods. The total negotiated amount for the settlement of this claim, to include lost overhead, standby time, remobilization, and all other associated costs, is $490,988.67. Because this amount exceeded the statutory limit of 10% on new items on contracts in excess of $1 million, Commission approval is required. The Department acknowledges the entitlement to this claim and recommends approval of an additional $490,988.67 to properly compensate the contractor. Item B is in District 3, Pontotoc County. This is with Overland Corporation. This contract on County Road 3450, south of State Highway 19, near Van Nuys, was awarded by the Oklahoma Transportation Commission on December 4th, 2023. Original contract time was 100 calendar days. A portion of the work in the contract included repairing areas of failed subgrade with 12 inches of compacted aggregate base before overlaying the entire roadway surface with asphalt. As work started, it became apparent that the subgrade failures were deeper than anticipated due to saturation under the existing surface. ODOT, in working with the contractor, recommended that the repair depth be increased to 24 inches and a layer of geotextile reinforcement be placed in each patch location. Also, S4 asphalt was to be substituted in place of the S5 asphalt to provide greater overall stability. Although the S4 asphalt was a substitute for the S5 asphalt, it is still considered a new pay item. This, along with the other items required to properly prepare the roadway surface for the overlay, caused the value of the new items to exceed the statutory limit of 10% on new items. The department acknowledges this entitlement and this claim and recommends approval for an additional $114,063.65 to compensate the contractor for the work performed. Item C, this is in District 5 in Dewey County, C3 Construction Incorporated. This contract on US 60 over Cottonwood and Kaiser Creeks near Visai was awarded by the Oklahoma Transportation Commission on July 1st, 2024 for a total contract amount of $6,242,052.93. The original contract time was 200 calendar days. During construction of the planned drill shaft foundations, conventional drilling operations were unsuccessful as the material being drilled was found to be unstable, leading to voids in the walls due to the collapsing soils. An attempt was made to substitute permanent casing in lieu of the planned temporary casing. One shaft was completed successfully, but 2 subsequent shafts were not. ODOT recommended that the work be halted until a more viable solution could be identified. Through coordination with ODOT Bridge Division, the decision was made to install pile foundations in place of the drill shaft foundations at both bridge locations. This work was completed successfully, allowing construction of the bridges to move forward. Through provided documentation and ultimately negotiation, ODOT and the contractor agreed that the impacts were realized to both the project schedule and financially due to the delays caused by this issue. The net increased cost is $1,378,898.53. Savings from unused items bring this total down to $706,512.21. Because this amount exceeds the statutory limit of 10%, Commission approval is necessary. The department acknowledges this entitlement to claim by the contractor and recommends approval of an additional $706,512.21. Approval of these items is recommended, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 186?
Motion for approval for 186.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Boswell. And a second, Commissioner Alexander. Let's see. Any discussion? None. Please cast your vote. And Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 187 is proposed administrative agency rules. Ms. Penn, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Commissioners. I apologize for being late to the meeting. This is Agenda Item 187, and these are the proposed agency rules that we are asking for your approval of. The first is Title 730, Chapter 25, 3-1, and it is correcting a citation to the statutory reference of the Open Records Act, which is in our rules. There is no impact to the fees or any other changes in this particular rule. The second is Title 730, Chapter 50, the Size and Weight Permits chapter, and the proposed rule changes correct citations, update addresses for field offices, correct website information, and update phone numbers for consistency and accuracy throughout the chapter. The duplicate references to unitized equipment and special mobilized machinery were removed. Additionally, references to turnpikes that are now designated as interstates were updated. The proposed changes also reduced the dual-lane configuration minimum from 16 feet to 14 feet and increased the length from 80 feet to 90 feet for escort requirements to be consistent with neighboring states, thereby allowing more travel through Oklahoma. The surrender of a permit was updated from any commissioned law enforcement officer to law enforcement officer of the Department of Public Safety for accuracy. Your approval is recommended.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 187?
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second, Studeville.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Penn. Motion passes. Excuse me. Item 188 is fiscal year 2026 budget revisions. Mr. Carter, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Agenda item 188 is in three parts. Part A is requesting increase of highway program using fourth quarter redistribution and carryover. Part 1 of A is going to be federal funds in the amount of $171,688,986. Part 2 of A is state funds in the amount of $469,528,487. Part B is the request to increase right-of-way program by $45 million, rebudgeting prior year reserve for existing right-of-way and utility programs or projects, And then Part C is a request an increase for capital program utilizing state carryover in the amount of $7,692,731. Your approval is recommended. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 188?
Motion to approve 188, Studeville.
Thank you, Commissioner Studeville. Do I have a second?
Second, Scott.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 189.
Agenda item 189 is resolution.
Excuse me, let me finish. Is a resolution authorizing ODOT to enter into a lease agreement with Oklahoma Capital Improvement Authority for the purpose of bond repayment. Mr. Carter, you're recognized to continue.
The department, through the director of ODOT, requests authorization to negotiate the terms and conditions of a lease agreement supporting documentation with the Oklahoma Capital Improvement Authority necessary for repayment of the State Highway Capital Improvement Revenue Bond Series for 2026 and to refund the outstanding State Highway Capital Improvement Revenue Bond Series 2016 to realize a reduction in debt service. Approval is recommended, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 189?
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Alexander.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Carter. Item 190 is proposed bid openings. Ms. Bryant, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Item 190, proposed bid openings, consist of the final January 2026, the tentative February 2026, and the tentative March 2026 bid openings. We are currently working under a continuing resolution through January 30th, 2026, and the department recommends approval.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 190?
Motion approval, Boswell.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Studeville.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Bryant. Item 191 is awards. Mr. Goka, you're recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 191 is the awards from the November bid openings. It will be in two parts. Part A is from the November 13th regular bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the November 13th, 2025 regular bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. 500, 510, 515, 518, 520, 530, 535, 558, 560, 565, 568, 590, and 595. Part B is from the November 20th, 2025 regular bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the November 20th, 2025 regular bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. 600, 603, 605 for the base bid only, 635, 643, 645, 650, and 670 for the base bid plus alternates 1 and 2. This concludes the recommendations and approval is requested.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 191?
Motion to approve, Scott.
Thank you. And a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Goka. Item 192 is a director's report. This is for information only. Director Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'd like to start off with the director's report, talking a little bit about a market study that the department goes through. As you're familiar, every 2 years, the department takes a hard look at our compensation levels across all of our job classes. That's a significant undertaking, and that's led by Dawn Sullivan, our deputy director, and she does an exceptional job of working through that with our human resources division. So in the consideration of market, and that's something we've been doing since 2005, so we've got a long practice, and primarily we're trying to address recruitment and retention problems that we've had and keep our turnover rates as low as we can keep them. I want to walk you through a little bit of a slide presentation here that talks a little bit about the department's workforce and the composition of it. So Eric, next slide if you would. When you look at our generational workforce composition, you hear a lot of discussion about the generations that we have that comprise the majority of not just the department's workforce, but everybody's workforce. And again, we've got the boomer generation that is 46 to 64, Gen X 65 to 1980, the millennials 81 through 96, and then Gen Z 97 through 2012. And I think that's an interesting mix. A decade ago, that pie chart would have looked dramatically different. I am one of the ones that sits right, and to be painfully honest, I have been often called a boomer. But I am actually in the Gen Z group with a birthday of 1965 and, Oh, Gen X, yeah, not Gen Z. Apologize. Yeah, Gen X with a birthday of 1965, and to put that in a little bit of perspective, I'm at the beginning of the Gen X, and I'm in my 36th year with the Department of Transportation, so I fit solidly in that Gen X blue piece of that pie chart. Next slide. This slide is one of the ones that causes me a little bit of concern. And again, when you look at that 20-plus year employee bar at the top of this chart, again, a decade ago, that would have encompassed more than 1,200 people. We certainly have talked a lot over the last decade about the silver tsunami and the retirements that we were going to experience. Well, that's happened. So again, that bar has been reduced by more than half. And what we're going to see over the next 5 years is that 456 number will continue to come down dramatically. What that translates to is as you get deeper into that bar graph, we're going to need to continue to recruit out of Gen X, the millennial generation, and Gen Z to be able to fill those gaps. And one of the things that is absolutely critical in the Department of Transportation is institutional knowledge. You only develop institutional knowledge through retention. So the Department of Transportation has to continue to do the things that we need to do to attract and retain quality personnel. Next slide, Eric. The legislature recognizes this uniquely, and part of their instructions in statute, and this dates from 2024, is that every agency, not just the Department of Transportation, should consider market and do what we can to meet a 90% of market level for all of our employees. One of the considerations that I want you to recognize is when we do a market study, you're looking backwards at the compensation levels in arrears. So we're looking at a job market and a compensation level that's not necessarily current. It's what's developed over the previous 2 years. And then we're trying to get to 90% of that level. And again, that takes some significant effort to get through it, just to understand what we're experiencing in our job classes. Next slide, Eric. So again, history of market studies since 2005, we've done these analysis every 2 years. We look at all of our salary levels and competitive market rates in both public and private sectors, and look at our alignment and where we've got discrepancies developing. And ultimately, we're trying to find those compensation gaps where we're beginning to lag behind. One of the primary indicators of that is turnover rate. So next slide. When you look at turnover rate, the green and the red bar at the top are the state's turnover rate. And again, the total state turnover rate runs somewhere around 22%. The department, because of our efforts to be diligent with these market studies, has kept ours well below the state turnover rate, and that's absolutely critical. What we've seen over the last couple of years is that while we'd like to have it at 10% or less, it's beginning to tick up. We're approaching 13% in turnover rate. Next slide, Eric. The cost of turnover, and as businessmen, you certainly all recognize this, is extreme. Because again, the worst thing that can happen to you is you bring in a new employee, get them trained up where they are becoming competent in the job they're doing, and have them leave you. And again, the cost of that, everything from the hiring practice to the training and the ramp up, and then working through the separation when somebody leaves, is extremely expensive. Based on a 12% actual turnover cost, almost $7 million would be the cost of that turnover to the department in just retaining. We'd a lot rather just keep them rather than having to rehire and retrain constantly. And if you increase that turnover rate another 10%, that's going to cost us another $5.8 million annually. So it is well within our desire to try to keep that as low as we can. Next slide. The market data resources out there, we try to get access to everything that we can do. The Office of Management and Enterprise Services does a study that's statutorily required in 2024 annual compensation report. That draws from the National Compensation Association of State Government. Arkansas, Colorado, Kansas, Louisiana, Missouri, and New Mexico. So we're looking at our peer states in the region. They pull from the Oklahoma Hospital Association and then a company called Pay Factors. And ODOT uses HCM and the OMES study. We also draw from the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. That's our national organization. They do a salary survey. So we pull that information in, and again, look particularly at Arkansas, Kansas, Texas, and Missouri. And we also pull from the Bureau of Labor Statistics as May of 2024. And then again, we use pay factors also and try to dial it more specifically into our job classes. Next slide. That may be the end of the slides, but this gives you a quick overview of the process that we go through to develop the market study. It's something we take extremely seriously. And at the end of the day, the end result is we do, when we are going to implement a market increase beginning in January of 2026, with a few rare exceptions for some anomalies in the data, the market adjustment's going to impact all ODOT employees. The total estimated cost for the remainder of state fiscal year 26 is $4.4 million. So that translates to a full year cost of our market increase is going to be around 8.8. Those numbers are going to be close. They're not exact yet because we're still implementing and loading this increase into the system, and will be until the first pay period in January. The market adjustment range is somewhere just over 2%, and ranges all the way up to in excess of 20% in certain job classes. So we've seen some pretty significant gaps develop just in the 2 short years since we've implemented the last one, and a lot of that's occurring in our professional classes. You know, we anticipated that our engineering job class was getting hit pretty hard, and that has happened. They've developed a significant market gap, and we continue in that. So the Department of Transportation would like to employ, you know, in excess of 200 engineers. Right now, if you total everything up, including our interns, we have that amount in the pipeline, but with an 11% turnover rate, we're having some struggles there. So that is one of our most important professional job classes. We are an engineering-centric organization, and we depend on that expertise to be able to get our job done and to be able to serve the safety of the traveling public adequately. The other area where we're seeing a significant impact is our heavy equipment operator job class. That's our largest job class with almost 800 employees in it. And in that group, we're continuing to experience a much higher than desired turnover rate. We've got a HEO, heavy equipment operator 1, 2, and 3. 1 is entry level, 3 we would consider to be career service. And the average turnover across all 3 of those levels is 15%. So significantly higher than the department's overall average. When you look at HEO 1s, which are the new hires, that turnover rate approaches 30%. So again, getting them in the door and then retaining them long enough to get them trained up and to advance in those job classes is extremely important, and that's why we've got to continue to be diligent about consideration of pay. The cost of the market adjustment, we will do our absolute most to hold our capital program harmless. We believe that we can cover the cost in when you look at the way we manage our personnel, everything from employee performance and making sure we're measuring it properly to controlling with every hire our FTE counts and our numbers. So the cost savings that we realize in our budgeted payroll amounts will be our primary resource to cover the cost of the market increase. So we feel like we can handle that through both the payroll costs, and also we'll draw from other efficiencies and savings that the department realizes across the coming years. So I'll stop there, Mr. Chairman, if I might, just briefly, and answer any questions about the market study that the commission might have of me.
Does it cover all levels of the administrative and professional staff?
Yes.
Including executive?
Yes.
Okay.
We look at the entirety of the organization and try to anticipate everything that's going on at all levels.
Good. Yeah. No, turnover is terribly expensive, so I'm very pleased we're doing that.
Yeah, and again, it's something we're committed to, and I think we have seen the benefits of it because we have lowered our turnover rate as we pay more and more attention to the market studies over the years. I won't tell you that we can do this every time, because sometimes budgetarily we're hesitant to be able to get this done. But this year we feel like we're at a critical juncture with the competition that's out there still in a pretty tough job market right now.
Yep.
So.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Going on with the director's report, we are continuing to monitor the status of our continuing resolution. You'll remember at the federal level, the CR that we're operating under now runs through January 30th of 2026. January 30th, the Congress will have to either do another continuing resolution and extend or have full appropriations bills passed. And they are working towards that now. They've got about a 2-week window before the holiday recess. And if they don't get appropriations bills done, they will come back in January and have to act very quickly to pass either a continuing resolution or full appropriations bills to avoid another government shutdown. So we know in communication with our congressional delegation, they are working hard, taking this very seriously, and we certainly wish them success, and we'll continue to monitor this, report out again in January and let you know where we're at and what we're looking at, and whether or not we anticipate our programs will be further impacted. So keep you posted. On Friday of last week, December 5th, we had the great pleasure, and Commissioner Scott, we very much appreciate you being with us down in Overbrook, just south of Ardmore, at our ribbon cutting on one of our maintenance facilities down there. This maintenance facility, in keeping with our long-range planning, the department is combining our Carter County, Love County, and Ardmore Interstate 35 maintenance facilities into one centralized facility, which gives us better efficiency, better coordination, and more capability, especially when you're considering response times in everything from winter weather to major incidents and emergency repairs that we might experience. Consolidated facilities allow us to build a better location and at pretty extreme cost savings. So again, that is in keeping with what we've been working on. We've got 2 of these open now, one up at Tonkawa in K County on I-35, and then again, this is our second one here at just south of Ardmore. But what we think is that this reflects smart long-term planning, and that's going to strengthen our daily operations, continue to enhance our organizational structure out in the field, and this will give our crews every opportunity to keep our roads in as good a shape as we can in their daily operations. We've got some pictures I think we can queue up of Interstate 35 and Highway 9 West. The interchange there at Norman, just between Norman and Goldsby, open weeks ahead of schedule, and just before the busy holiday travel, some of the busiest time of year. The project widened I-35 from 4 to 6 lanes and built Oklahoma's 3rd diverging diamond interchange, along with 2 new local roundabouts. Drivers should use extra caution as traffic adjusts to the new interchange configuration. Limited nighttime closures are going to continue to be expected as we wrap up work. And again, the contract was awarded to Sherwood Construction in August of 2023, an $82 million project that got started in earnest in January of 24, and we're wrapping it up in 2 years. Dramatic improvement. The efficiencies of a diverging diamond interchange were desperately needed at that location. Again, what was there previously was characterized as one of our less desired interchange designs. And again, we've made a significant improvement there that will serve the traveling public long into the future. I have received a lot of favorable comments since we've gotten it fully open. So again, as the public continues to get used to it, I think we have made an improvement there. It's going to be long lasting. So. Some of our major upcoming projects that you considered this morning, the US 81 Chickasha truck reliever route there in Grady County, $85 million project that you awarded. And that's going to get started. That's going to do the dirt work for the truck bypass along with 9 of the bridges. What the drivers are going to notice, and it's not really under traffic, but drivers will see some major earthwork operations and again, bridge construction. This is going to be about a 3-year phase, and this is something the department rarely does, which is a new alignment. So again, this will take us a little bit to construct. More work is coming in the future with an interchange in 2027, and we'll have to come back with paving operations and pave the dirt work that we're undertaking now. So more to come there, and the rest of the project is programmed in our 8-year plan, and we're looking forward to getting that one done. If you're familiar with the Chickasha area and Highway 81, truck traffic through the middle of town can be very challenging, especially when the energy sector is really going hard. They get a lot of truck traffic through the middle of town, and this will be a great benefit to get traffic that's not destination for that downtown area around more efficiently. US 75 at Preston Road in Okmulgee County, it's an $11 million interchange project to convert a at-grade intersection to a controlled access interchange. That's an intersection that's been a high accident, high crash rate location for us, and something we've been working on for many years. And this corrects some challenges with horizontal and vertical curves. We'll start late winter of 2026, and it'll take about a year to complete. $11 million is a great bid for a project of this type, and considering all the construction challenges that there'll be at that location. Our safety messaging is pretty short and straightforward. Buckle up and drive sober. And, you know, after the busy Thanksgiving travel weekend, it's good to remember that road safety is crucial as the holiday season continues. Buckling up every time is the most effective way to protect yourself in a crash. And as the holiday season continues, plan ahead to drive sober. If you're celebrating, man, line up a safe ride, use rideshare. Lots of opportunities out there to keep yourself safe if you're going to be drinking. And again, as always, when we say drive sober, that includes not just alcohol impairment, but drug impairment also, and marijuana. So again, we want the traveling public to be as safe as they can. Something and we're kind of getting on the back end of it now, so we feel a little bit better about it, but one of the things that we had a huge year in this year, and in an unfavorable manner, is deer strikes. And again, when the rut really starts to ramp up in November and into December, the deer start moving around, and we have seen an extreme number of deer strikes out on our highways. Most recently, we've had a deer strike that occurred on Interstate 35 at the Cimarron River Bridge. It resulted in a multiple fatality, and just absolute awful conditions. You know, so whenever you get into that time period around dusk and early in the morning hours, drivers should really pay attention to what's in front of them, not just directly, but you really got to scan the right of way and be on the lookout, and be prepared to, you know, do your best to avoid the deer, but also don't swerve into oncoming traffic. You got to be careful about lane departures. A lot of times you're much better off impacting the animal than you are trying to avoid it and causing other problems. So if you do hit a deer, stay inside your vehicle first and foremost. If you can't move the car to get away from the lane of travel, try to put a barrier between yourself and traffic if you've got to get out of that vehicle. And again, the recent crash that we've had on I-35 really shows and emphasizes the danger of being outside a vehicle after a crash like that. So from a winter weather safety standpoint, ODOT crews and equipment have already been busy this year. Drivers play a key role in safety during winter weather. Always be sure and give our crews room to work. Be careful out there while you're driving. Anticipate slick conditions. We've got a Drive Oklahoma app that's a valuable resource that helps give you an indication of what conditions are out there on the highways across the state. And new this year, during winter weather, you can also see ODOT snowplows in action at oksnowplows.org. And, you know, one of the things that we talk a lot about is our wintertime operations. We're geared up and ready. Our salt sheds are full. Our crews are ready to go to work. And again, had a long week last week. Continuing this morning with a report of some freezing fog out in western Oklahoma and Eric. So again, it's just that season. One of the things that we do, you know, you have anti-icing operations, which is pre-treatment, and de-icing operations, which is what happens after the ice hits. Pre-treatment, one of the things that we really try to emphasize is there's nothing out there that's magic, so you can't go pre-treat and keep ice from forming. What that pre-treatment does is it keeps ice from bonding to the pavements so tight if the conditions are just right. And again, so anytime that you're experiencing freezing precipitation or the threat of freezing precipitation, drivers have got to slow down. They've got to pay attention. Even if the pavements are dry, bridges can flash freeze, and that can be a big problem. But we've got to get everybody to slow down and be careful. Those posted black and white speed limits are for a clear, dry day, not for when you're experiencing inclement weather of any kind, but especially freezing precipitation. So again, we will do our absolute best across the course of the winter to keep drivers as safe as we can, but we need everybody's help to get home safely. So with that, Mr. Chairman, being December, I would wish each of you and all of your families a Merry Christmas and look forward to a bright 2026.
Thank you. Commissioners have any questions or comments?
I have one question. You were talking about the regional facilities, and we have two that are in operation right now, I believe you said?
Yes, sir.
What time frame do you see us having that system in place?
So we're working through it right now. We've got two in operation, two that are near term. So we've got one coming online in District 1 in Salisaw, another facility that'll be built in Hughes County. So those are the next two. If you figure that we've got more than 50 of these types of maintenance yards across the state that need replacement, they're late 1950s to early kind of like me, you know. So they are not Gen Z models.
You're talking our
you know,
language.
they're boomer facilities and they're worn out. The one that we replaced in Tonkawa, you could look through the back wall of the shop and see Kansas. So again, this is something we've got to do. By combining these facilities, like I said, it increases our efficiency. So if you can get 2 or 3 for one, we'll be working at this for the next probably 10 to 15 years to get those replacements accomplished. And during that time period, again, it's a work in progress, so we will be refining our organizational structures and crew operations out of these types of multi-county operations and try to make them as good as we can get them as we build out the new ones.
Thank you very much.
Do you expect those to cause a reduction in headcount?
You know, I think the crew size out there right now is probably about as low as I would consider safe. And I think the district engineers would agree with me. So I don't know that it necessarily lowers headcount. I think what it does is, you know, if you take multiple crews of 6 or 8 guys and you put them together and then you start to plan your work across a multi-county area and not have so much worry about where the county boundary is, but just start maintaining the highway system, I think we will realize some efficiencies and some operational change there that will be very favorable to us. I don't know that we will lower headcount. And that's something we talk about a lot because, you know, you hear a lot of discussion about AI and what's happening in the workforce. Well, you can't fix guardrails from your kitchen table or by using AI. So we're going to need boots on the ground people for long into the future. And again, the absolute biggest concern that we have is that those crews can operate out there and do their job safely. So I think we're about at that level. And again, so I don't expect a personnel reduction in those crews. But that's something we'll continue to watch as this develops further. Good question, Commissioner.
Well, you didn't mention the cost savings in District 7 on that yard consolidation. That was significant.
Significant.
It was,
Yeah, when you're consolidating these, what you effectively do is you save several $1 million per location versus trying to replace those individually in the county. And again, we've got a projected savings right now already of in excess of $10 million just on the couple of facilities that we've done combination of, so.
Significant.
And again, we think we can continue to meet the needs of the traveling public and the department very effectively out of these types of operations. And if you haven't been to one and you get a chance to stop in, guys, these are nice facilities. Go back to turnover rate in our heavy equipment operators. When you hire one of those guys and you send them out to a location that's less than really nice to operate out of, we can be very proud of these types of facilities as we build them out, and it's going to be a good place for our crews to headquarter out of. And it'll help us with that retention problem. I'm confident.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Director Gatz.
Thank you, Commissioners.
If commissioners have no other comments, I'd hear a motion for item 193, which is adjournment.
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you, and do I have a second?
Second, Studeville.
Thank you. Please cast your vote. Commissioner Junk, please announce your vote.
Yes.
Motion passes. We are adjourned.